Hi guys, welcome in this new Albanian lesson where we are going to learn some useful and important similar letters you need to know in the Albanian alphabet. So, without further ado, let's start with the first two letters. Now, the first and also the most two common letters that we normally have in the Albanian alphabet that Albanian learners usually confuse are letter C with the tail and letter Q. Now remember, especially if you are a beginner in the Albanian language, these two letters will sound exactly the same, but trust me, they are not. The more fluent you become in the Albanian language, the more you are going to notice the difference between these two letters. So remember, the C with the tail, it is pronounced this way: ch, ch, like the word chocolate in English. Or in Albanian, the word is very similar. We say chocolat, chocolat, chocolat. On the other hand, the Q, you can pronounce it ch, ch. For example, T in Albania, you can say chai, chai. As I told you, especially if you are a beginner, they might sound the same, but trust me, they are not. So I will repeat them once again. The Q with the tail, ch, ch, and then the Q, ch, ch. Let's see the word chocolate, chocolat, chocolat. And then for the Q, you can say for the word T, chai, chai. And then let's see carefully, we have letter E. Remember that in the Albanian language, we have two letters, letter E with no dots and then letter E with two dots. So remember, the normal E in Albanian, you're going to pronounce it this way: E, E. And for example, we have the word elephant, which in Albanian is very similar. You can say elephant, elephant. And then the E with two dots, you can pronounce it this way: E, E. For example, dream, under, under. So once again, normal E, 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 and then the E with two dots, E, E. And then let's see, we have here letter L. Again, remember, in the Albanian language, we have two L, single L, a double L. So remember, the single L, you are going to pronounce it this way: L, L. It's very soft, L. For example, river, in Albanian, you can say lum, lum. And then the double L, you are going to pronounce it this way: L, L, L. For example, lamp, in Albanian, you can say lamb, lamb. Let's repeat them once again. The single L, 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 and then the double L, L, L. And then we have letter T plus H and then D plus H. Remember that even though these ones contain two letters, they are considered as one. So remember, the T plus H, you are going to pronounce it this way. Th, 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 th. For example, we have here the word knife, which in Albanian you can say thick, thick, thick. And then on the other hand, we have letter D plus H, which in Albanian you can pronounce it this way. The, the, the. For example, gift, dhurat, dhurat, dhurat. Once again, T plus H, th, th, and then D plus H, the. And then let's see letter R, the single R and the double R. Remember that the single R is very soft. You are going to pronounce it this way. R, R, R. For example, magazine, revist, revist, revist. On the other hand, the double R is very strong. You are going to pronounce it this way. R, R, R. For example, street, rug, rug, rug. So once again, single R, very soft, R, R, and then double R, R, R. And then let's see two more letters, letter G plus J and X plus H. Even these two letters are very, very similar. So remember, the G plus J, you are going to pronounce it this way. J, J, J. For example, sleep in Albanian, you can say gjum, gjum. And then the X plus H, you are going to pronounce it this way. J, J, J. For example, pocket, jep, jep. So once again, G plus J, 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 and X plus H, J, J. Thank you for watching and do not forget, subscribe for more videos. See you in the next one.